Hello everyone, it would seem, why do I need to train Sheriff separately, and in general, why exactly him? The fact is that in Valorant, due to its certain economy, we can say that there are almost no equal rounds. Very often you will be able to buy at least your Sheriff. At the same time, you can save your skills and in the next round you can easily buy a Vandal with armor. Sheriff is a weapon that can change the outcome of a round no matter what your opponents buy, and it only costs 800 credits. That is why now I will tell you about all the most important things when playing with Sheriff. I wish you a pleasant viewing and let's get started. I would like to start with the important thing that I touched on the video about aim training, but here it will be even more important, and this is the rate of fire. Sheriff is the very weapon for which the rate of fire plays an incredibly important role. This is the most accurate pistol in the game. The accuracy coefficient of the first shot is 0.25. It is like on Vandal without a scope. It's more than on farm guns and even more than on Bulldog. Accordingly, this accuracy must of course be used, and for this you need to understand the rate of fire with Sheriff. The easiest way is to go into the range and put a dynamic sight with a dot in the center. Then you will see exactly when the weapon is fully stabilized and ready for the next shot. For clarity, in this video I put a thicker crosshair, and also I increased shooting error so you can see it better. I will leave this crosshair code in the description so you can copy and memorize the rate of fire with it. By the way, this crosshair is also convenient for the Sheriff by the fact that during shooting your crosshair somehow twitches and takes it up, and due to this you cannot aim accurately for a fraction of seconds, but in the case of such crosshair, due to the dot in the middle, you can keep the crosshair on the opponent's head in order to, as soon as the weapon stabilizes, you can make an accurate shot. This is the most noticeable at long range, or when you start spamming and the opponent up close and then move on to a new target a little farther away. So after spamming you will have to wait even longer for the weapon to stabilize, and while you wait you can have time to aim thanks to the dot. For example, in this clip, if I didn't spam but shoot at pace, I would have killed the Killjoy much more confidently with one accurate shot. And guys, if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment, because none of you who's watching my video are subscribed, so make sure to subscribe. Thank you so much, and let's move on. The second important thing when playing with the Sheriff is positioning. The choice of position always depends on your weapon, and in the case of Sheriff this means that all distances are available to you at all. At least many people think so. The fact is that we often use Sheriff when playing against a better purchase of opponents. Respectively, our advantage over them will lie precisely in the correct choice of position, and if you choose a position in which you can hit a headshot, but then your opponent will quickly kill you and you will not even finish your enemy, then there will be no sense from this. Respectively, I do not recommend taking non-one-shot positions for the Sheriff, and this is all positions that are 30 meters or more. Plus again, you need to remember that Sheriff, although an accurate weapon, still has a shooting error, and see how often you miss from a distance of 50 meters, even if the crosshair is perfectly on opponent's head. At the same time, yes, an opponent with the Vandal can also miss, but firstly, the Vandal shoots faster, secondly, he has a zoom, thirdly, the opponent can be with a Phantom where the error is smaller, or even with Guardian and there it is 0, and fourthly, stabilization is anyway faster on Vandal, Phantom or Guardian. Now look at how many misses there are at a distance of 30 meters, you can say there are none at all. Plus keep in mind that I say the crosshair ideally in the center of the robot's head, but this will not happen in the real game, and accordingly a shot to the edge of the head will be registered even less often. Based on this, what conclusion can be drawn? It makes no sense to take positions with distances of more than 30 meters, especially if you know that the opponent has armor. Considering the example of a new map, it simply does not make sense to take such a position. Or even better, this one, there are more than 50 meters, so even if you shoot perfectly, you will not finish off the enemy, or the bullet will not register. And if we imagine the situation in a real match, then it will be even more hard to hit a shot. Opponents will give you a smoke, you will try to squeak out of it, there will be almost no time to aim, your eyes will run up to several opponents at once. In general, such a position is bad for the Sheriff. It is better to stand up somehow here, so there will be more chances, and most importantly, it will be a one-shot headshot from you. But what I can say about any close positions, does Sheriff fit in there? It all depends on the situation, but it makes no sense to hide in double doors on the heaven with Sheriff. Instead, it's better to take a shorty for yourself. It will be more useful in such situation, and you don't have to worry that that if no one comes to you, then you will have to play a retake with Shorty and you won't be able to kill anyone. Even with the Sheriff, it is not a fact that you can, because without abilities, when playing retake on eco, there are few chances in any case. At the same time, if you ended up with Sheriff in a close position, you can try to hit the head with the first shot, and then if you somehow can survive, start spamming in the body. But then again, to kill your enemy, you will need 0.75 seconds if you hit the first 3 shots. At the same time, the enemy with Vandal will need only 0.25 seconds, and during that time he will deal 100 damage to you. Why I take 100 damage? Because we play Sheriff more on eco rounds, as I said before. Even if you have armor, you're still in a weaker position. You will not have enough time to spam the enemy, and if he is not alone, then there is no chances at all for you. Each of your misses while spamming will cost you as much time as the opponent with Vandal needs to kill you. About the same if the enemy use farm guns, you will be in a very bad position, so it is not worth taking close positions and hoping that you can overspam your enemy, especially since the opponent can simply run and gun with Spectre, then you will never hit him at all. And well, trying to spam into the opponent's head is an even worse idea. I also recommend you studying the maps. You need to do a little research for yourself, because sometimes it seems that the distance is not that big, but it turns out that there are in fact 30 plus meters, and this is no longer suitable for Sheriff. Taking distances below average is also not always right, because a player with Spectre is the best at a distance of less than 15 meters, since he can kill you with 2 headshots. So try to build on this as well. Constantly analyze what is happening in the game, how the opponent plays, from which positions he attacks most often, and so on. And finally, the third thing, the positioning of your crosshair. In the case of Sheriff, this is much more important than if we are talking about Vandal. As I said, you have one shot, one chance to hit your enemy, since your Sheriff may not have time to get ready before the second shot, so it is important to set your crosshair correctly. Here also everything depends on the situation, because Jet, who will dash into her smoke, will spoil all the positioning of crosshair for you. But if we talk about some general concepts, there are several important things. Firstly, it all depends on the time of the round. If this is the start of the round and you want to give a quick one shot and rush back, then it is logical to assume that the enemy will also quickly seek to occupy his territory and he will pick wide. But if this is some late moment of the round or a clutch where there is no information and the opponent is trying to gamble, the crosshair should be placed closer to the wall, because your enemy most likely will use shift. The bottom line is that even before the appearance of the enemy, your crosshair should be already in the place where the enemy will probably want to stop when he starts a firefight with you. Again, to set the crosshair perfectly for the first time, you always have more than enough time. But when the shootout starts, you will panic about who hits you, you need to shoot at the same time, the enemy hits more often than you try to shoot faster, all bullets flies the wrong way and you die. So try to invest maximum in the first shot, and the learned rate of fire will save you from the rest. A good example is this clip. The situation is 2 versus 5, we have eco, so our opponents will feel as free as possible. I see where the flash is flying from, I understand that the enemy will run out, so I put the crosshair 2 frames ahead. Here I was somewhat lucky, I hit 2 bullets in a row perfectly in the head, but anyway I could not take a closer position earlier, because I came from another side to retake. My aim helped me with the second kill, but pay attention, I didn't look at the enemy's position because I heard the sound of water, but when I saw Sage I didn't try to do a flick shot, but simply made a smooth transition and then calmly connected my bullet with her head. Here in the last enemy I set the crosshair in advance at the level of the head relative to the water, then realizing that there was no one there, I raised it higher to my level. This gave me another easy kill. And well, before the first kill I kept the sight in such a position that it would be approximately the same for me to aim to the left and right sides of the pyramid, because there was no longer any information. Plus, the level of the head here could also be different, so I choose the approximate middle. Well, these are all tips from me in this video, I hope they will be useful for you. Write in the comments what is the most important for you when you play with Sheriff. Thanks everyone for watching this video, see you soon, bye bye.